us to go back into our training and learning mode. And of course, we've had lunch, so we've got all the energy. Everything's back, everything's normal. I even feel a bit more chipper and more relaxed. So our next keynote speaker is the Adaptability. Safety is all about making sure the workplace not only just physically safe, but also mentally supportive. It's about helping everyone feel ready and resilient no matter what changes or challenges come their way. Our next keynote session is Adaptability Safety, ensuring psychological resilience in the workplace. Our speaker, Ms. Suzan Al Ghanem, Section Head of Organizational Resilience and Business Continuity at Environment Agency in Abu Dhabi, will talk about how we can make this happen while sharing some practical tips on building a work environment where everyone feels equipped to tackle stress and change. Please welcome to the stage Ms. Suzan Al Ghanem.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everybody is wide awake right after lunch, and I promise I won't bore you to death. So my name is Suzan Al Ghanem. I've been working in, I've been working in various lines of work, and one of them focuses on health and safety, business continuity, organizational resilience, and so on and so on. So basically, before we get into the topic itself, this topic is so near and dear to me, because I was just just remembering the past where my mother was, God rest her soul, Allah yarhamha sakan al-jannah. She was an advocate for psychological well-being. She was a clinical psychologist who actually believed in the mental well-being of everyone, no matter what age, from junior age, from minor ages to adult to senior citizens. So basically, psychological well-being is highly important in each of our lives. This is where I'm going to be covering within the topic today, and I really hope that you all benefit from today's session. So this is actually our agenda for today. To start it off, I work in the Environment Agency of Abu Dhabi, which was established originally in 1996, previously named Aruda, where we focus on protecting and preserving the environment in the Emirate of Abu Dhabi as part of the UAE. And our main vision, in accordance to the UAE vision of 2030, that we focus on ensuring a healthy, well-protected, and sustainable environment that enhances the quality of life. I work under the Emergency Safety and Business Continuity Office, where we basically have 3 sections. One of them, which is the Environmental Emergency and Crisis section, the Occupational Health and Safety section, and the Organizational Resilience and Business Continuity section, in which I'm actually heading. So before we get into the topic itself, it's really important to focus on this specific topic. And let's dive into first about resilience. How do we define resilience? So according to the American Psychological Association, resilience is defined as the process and outcome of successfully adapting to difficult or challenging life experiences, especially through mental, emotional, and behavioral flexibility and adjustment to external and internal demands. So I have a question for all of you, but I'd like you to think about it throughout today's session. Is psychological well-being being impacted during the day-to-day life, or is it being impacted during a crisis or a disaster? Just think about it for a minute. So hopefully this session will help to have a better understanding of how to answer this question. So let's dive into how do we define the psychological and physical well-being. The psychological well-being is a state of mind where an individual has the ability and the capability to develop their potential, work productivity, and cope with the normal stresses of life. While physical well-being is the stability to maintain a healthy quality of life that allows us to get the most out of our daily activities without undue fatigue or physical stress. Now, as you can see, psychological well-being and physical well-being are interconnected with the other. One cannot live without the other. So why is it important for us as leaders, organizations, parents, individuals to focus on the psychological well-being and physical well-being? Because our colleagues are people and they deal with anxiety, and because they also deal with depression. They are always under a lot of stress. They do deal with a lot of health issues, and they have a passion to grow within their organization, to build their career. And they do want to strengthen their relationships, and they do deal with financial difficulties. And by the end of the day, we all have to go back to our families, which is why it is important to stress the psychological well-being. What are the implications that might impact or reflect the psychological well-being in a very negative way? There are 5 types of changes that might impact the individual. 1, it could be a personal or individual change. 2, before we go into the second one, the personal individual change, that person can be going through anything in his and her life. This could be outside of the workplace, this could be during the workplace, so that's an implication. The second is cultural. We all have dealt with it. We all come from different backgrounds. We all come from different cultural backgrounds where we are always constantly judged. We are judged in our personal life, we're judged between families, we're judged within society, we're even judged within our organization and the bigger organizations, whether in the country or outside of the country. Of course, another change that can implicate the impact itself, unplanned or unpredictable events. This could be something personal, or it could be professional, or it's something that's uncontrolled. Remedial change. Remedial change is basically when there's an immediate change, we have to find an immediate solution to have it resolved as soon as possible. And the last change is, we all deal with it, organizational and or societal change. We've all have gone through this. So what are the solutions? One of the many solutions is to stress and raise awareness, and because it is everybody's responsibility, and the law says so, it's an opportunity to change the cultural perception, and especially for the decision makers, for the leaders and the individuals and our colleagues around us. It is an opportunity to be more proactive, and it helps protect people's safety and well-being in the workplace, and it helps to keep people up to date with the latest information. One of those information that we've all have been dealing with, and if we go back to COVID-19, COVID-19 was an unplanned event. Nobody expected it, not the UAE, not any country in the world. However, we had to deal with it together. But nobody talks about the psychological well-being. Nobody talks about, how the individual was going through, the family members, the children, the senior citizens. Nobody actually talked about it throughout the COVID-19. The whole point of the COVID-19 that was mostly highlighted is response, keeping people safe. But what about people's mental or psychological well-being? This is something that we all learned the hard way throughout the 3 years. It is very, very important to actually highlight and look after the well-being of your colleagues, your staff, and your family members, whoever it is. Another solution, which is enhancing capacity building and preparedness, to make sure that your organization, your employees are well prepared. It is important to enhance the capabilities, educating top management, any core teams, representative, employees, so practically everybody in your organization. This actually helps to ensure organizational resilience during a crisis. And of course, it ensures preparedness. It helps to ensure and enhance emergency response plans, ensuring availability of resources. Priority response, this is my favorite. This is something that I can read it from the back of my hand. The priority response, which is known as PAIR, people, environment, assets, and reputation, and conducting regular testing and exercises to validate the plans and to make sure people are very responsive. So what is the ideal sustainable work environment that you can offer for your colleagues and your employees, or you can advise, in your workplace, and you could even implement it even at home or to a friend? Make sure to have a sustainable office. Make sure to ensure, encouraging positivity within your employees. Create a safe space. Promote safety awareness. Implement best ergonomic practices. Build an understanding and be supportive. Go eco-friendly. Try to apply motivation and recognition. And of course, this also incorporates ensuring compliance and continuous improvement. Because in order to, from my perspective, in order for us to protect the environment, we have to look after our colleagues, our employees. And this feeds into the corporate governance. It's a mandatory requirement. Include recognitions. It is linked with many, many, many practices. And it enhances reputation, strengthens brands of your organizations, and it must be continuously maintained. We cannot make a promise that we will take care of the well-being or the psychological well-being of our colleagues, just today, and then forget about it tomorrow. We have to lead by example. So what are the steps to build the resiliency of maintaining or ensuring psychological well-being in the workplace? Keep an open mind. Be positive, avoid negativity, and stop stressing. If you stress, others will stress around you. For every individual, if you basically be positive, people around you will be more positive, and vice versa. Accept the change and move forward. Take it as a challenge. Sometimes not a lot of people, especially from your colleagues or your friends or family, not a lot of people have these tools to implement it. Sometimes it's actually our responsibility as individuals to help a person out. Proceed to assess and analyze the situation, get all the information as much as possible. Have that ability to identify and prepare options. As individuals and as leaders in our organizations, we are required to give these solutions. Take immediate action, be responsible, reflect by conducting gap analysis. This is my favorite sentence. Learn and remember to breathe. Sometimes we all deal with a lot of situations where we are under a lot of pressure and a lot of stress, and we're dealing with negative people or in a toxic environment. Remember to always take a step back and just breathe. Oops. It's not the end of the world, because you've done your best. Ensure continual improvement and repeat the cycle. Make sure you share your experience with others. Aim to achieve excellence and best practices. Sometimes kind words can actually save a life. You never know what your colleague, your friend, or even a stranger is actually going through. And sometimes words have meanings, especially in the workplace, which is why we always stress to our organization and many organizations to focus on the psychological well-being, of the individuals. Again, it could be, doesn't necessarily have to be in the workplace, it could be anybody. People actually need to be motivated. This is just a sample of what we've actually implemented over the years. And we've won many, many, many awards on a local level, on a federal level, on a GCC level, and on an international level. Recently, last year, we have actually, as an environment agency, we have won Best Practices of Business Continuity and coming in second place of Best Government Implementation in the Emirate of Abu Dhabi. And we have basically received an award as the Best Business Resilience, within the GCC. So this is something that we're very proud of. And going back to the psychological well-being, when you're positive and you encourage people around you, and you motivate people and you lead by example, this is something that can make people more positive, become more productive, find a reason, they'll be able to find a reason to continue rather than going downhill. Our strengths are our top management support. We try to obtain resources as much as possible. Sometimes these resources, they may be tangible, but when it comes in the case of psychological well-being, it's also intangible. Our strategic priorities, implementing change management and continuous improvement. Our lessons learned is that it is important to conduct proper planning and risk assessment, conduct testing and exercises to validate these plans, importance of employee participation and training, and conducting constant awareness. Sometimes you have to be like a broken record. When someone's annoyed that they don't want to hear it, you have to keep repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating again and again and again and again until they basically they start thinking about it, just like watching the commercials. Integration with existing systems and processes, communication and collaboration with stakeholders. And our future challenges, and I believe everybody will be facing these future challenges, it's organizational adaptability. We have dealt with a lot of change because of COVID, because of many risks, starting from COVID that have impacted us globally, to cyber attack, which is ongoing, to supply chain, and there's going to be many, many, many more. So we should be able to learn to adapt. Organizational resilience, where it's our duty to ensure resiliency in our organization, to ensure the survival, not just of our organization, but number one, the priority, our colleagues, our employees. And of course, future forecasting. That's all I have. Thank you so much. I do apologize. I'm always looking at the slide. I barely even looked at the timer, and we basically have around almost 7.5 minutes. If you guys have any questions for me, I welcome it. Nobody? Is it because of lunch? Did I bore you to death? Hope not. Hopefully, I'm just joking. Well, thank you so much. Oh, yes, there you go. I apologize. I can barely see because the light is like literally just slapping my eyes right now. Yep. Can you repeat? Because I cannot hear you. Sorry.
There's a microphone in the middle of the room. Yes.
Do you want this mic? Oh.
I'm not sure if it's on, but yeah, no.
All right, awesome.
So my question was, in your 5 pillars of the psychological effects,
Yep.
Where do you place diversity, equity, inclusion when you talk about both the cultural aspect and, I don't remember each and every one of them, but yeah, the personal individual. So, because diversity, equity, inclusion is one of those very important topics that is on a lot of people's lips nowadays.
Yeah.
And of course it affects the psychological as well as physical well-being immensely. So you have a few words on that?
Definitely. Thank you so much for your question. for diversity, it feeds into both the individual, in three key areas: the individual, the cultural, and both the organizational and societal. We all work in a diverse culture within our organization, and we do need to take care, not just focusing on, like, for example, Arabic speakers, English speakers. There are employees who don't speak neither Arabic or English. We need to consider other nationalities where basically we want to be able to communicate and convey the message. Sometimes, some individuals, maybe they might be educated, some might not be educated, which basically this is one of the many things that COVID-19 has taught us, that we need to be transparent. We need to be able to communicate clearly to everyone. I hope I was able to answer your question. Thank you. Anybody else? If no one has any questions, thank you so much. I'll be around. If you want to reach out to me, I can be found on LinkedIn. And I believe you guys will be providing the presentations to all the attendees, correct?
I'm not 100% sure on that.
I hope so.
If it is available, yes. It'll be done through a QR code, I'm sure.
All right, wonderful. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much, Suzan. Thank you for sharing such interesting insights on your subject.